Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new vlog. We are going to continue our quest and our journey to get our invite early this season. We have Rochester and Niagara coming up in the very near future. I am playing Lunalight right now, and I'm feeling really good about it. We had an undefeated week at locals 2 weeks ago, and then we had the last vlog where I think the only loss I had was in time with Drew, but that was more so because we are really good friends and we just spend the whole match talking about like Halo lore and different things. So as far as the actual deck goes, I think it's quite strong. You know, I say all this, I did take it to another locals, which I didn't make a vlog about, but we played against Tempai, and that destroyed me. Like it was not close. And it was one of those things where I realized I've been preparing for Yummy, I've been preparing for Dracotail, Mitsu a little bit, but there is an issue in rogue decks which I still never really had an opportunity to play against. I got right into the game after Tempai got phased out. So there are still some blind spots for me, and I think that's something I do need to start considering a little bit more. Now, you know what you do when you don't know how to play against a deck? Simply, you play floodgates. And in this beautiful game of Yu-Gi-Oh, you've got a lot to choose from. There's one in particular that actually has a lot of synergy with Lunalight. It'll be good against the rogue matchups like Tempai, but it's also really good against our hardest matchup, which I think is Mitsu. So we're gonna dive into this deep pile of cards to find that big, beautiful arch nemesis Protoss. You call dark, they can't Wosu you. You call fire, they can't Tempai you. Takes care of a lot of things, and you can actually get to it through your regular combo. So I'm apparently now that guy. If they ban it, I can't be that guy. Konami, hear me out. Now, I actually can't take credit for this thought. I know that Yassine played it at YCS Lima. He got top 32, and I believe he mentioned that he was able to get top 32 through all of the Mitsu matchups because of Protoss. I think it's also a pretty flexible card in our deck because we are getting the Cross Sheep, which is an Earth. We obviously can summon the Tiger King, which is another Fire. The Lunalight Tiger is also a Light, and there are a lot of different ways to bounce that back to your hand, get it on the board. That said, we do have Mail for a slightly less powerful format. I think we have some Genesis cards in here. I think we also might have an extra deck card for our current extra deck. So we're going to open this, we'll edit the deck, and then we'll head to locals, continue to prepare for those big regionals coming up. Now, I've actually ordered a lot of cards lately, so this could be any number of things, but as per usual, 401 Games, code Ruggles5, save 5% off your Genesis DD Crows. We have two here. We have Droll and Lockbird, QCR. That is actually potentially for Lunalight. It's an easy way to detach. Then again, Genesis format, we've got a lot of trap cards, and yes, we have more Eldritch cards. I do feel like Odeon's probably a better deck, but I don't know, man. I miss this. I want to have some fun with it. Now, you're probably wondering, when are we actually going to play with all of these Genesis cards? And the answer, I think, is soon-ish. We have tournaments now at 401. However, we also have a mail strike. So I'm getting packages from 401 because 401 is shipping with non-Canada Post, but I also ordered a bunch of cards for Eldritch and Odeon that are essentially just stuck in mail purgatory right now. So we're waiting for that to get resolved so that I have the cards for my deck. And until then, we get to play TCG, which, to be honest, I really do love right now. I think that the Lunalight deck is a lot of fun. I really like playing into Yummy and Dracotail. I think YCS Anaheim kind of opened our eyes to a lot of bridging archetypes, which is getting a little scary, and it's making me reconsider if I want to play all board breakers or if I want to move to hand traps. Though I really like board breakers in Lunalight because cards like Book of Eclipse do allow cards like your Leo to resolve when it gets imperm, so it has bonus value, and hand traps don't often offer that bonus value in the same way. But it'll be interesting to see how this stacks up against the decks post Anaheim and how people are kind of moving with that meta. I'll also note, and this is important, Bring Me the Horizon is coming to Toronto, I think on April 28th. So I am saying this now to the camera, partially to share my enjoyment, but also partially so that when I go to edit this later, I remember that the tickets are going on sale and I buy them. So that's exciting. We're we're gonna make a coffee, and then we're going to get onto the next thing, and we're gonna go to locals. Now, coffee today is gonna be a little bit special because we are in October. And you know what that means. We have, thank you, love, pumpkin mugs. Beautiful. We're very festive people. We are not ashamed. And this coffee is going to taste extra good.
We also have two, so.
We do have two. We have a whole box of festive Halloween mugs. Not to flex.
You're flexing.
Now, as per usual, you already know, we've got the protein Fairlife milk. Wonderful.
Most importantly, we have the whipped cream. And not just any whipped cream, it's a pumpkin spice whipped cream.
She was so excited to tell you guys about this.
Think about this. Think about this in yugioh terms. If you combo two things together and then you get to the floodgate, this is the floodgate. It's a pumpkin spice whipped cream bottle that you put on your coffee.
We're not sponsored, by the way. She's just very passionate about pumpkin spiced
If you put two good things together and then you get something magical. Okay?
It's like yummy, Mitsurugi.
Yeah.
Canine Crystron.
Exactly. I'm gonna do this.
Yeah, I know.
I'm gonna do it.
So, I know this all might seem a little silly, but I think as Yu-Gi-Oh players, we all play this game for a lot of reasons, but one of them, in the back of our heads I'm sure, is that desire for nostalgia. I think for Athena and I, decorating for holidays helps keep us feeling young and remembering the good old days, so we put a lot of care and love into it, and I do think it is just important in general as you grow up, as you do start dealing with the big things, the heavy things, to remember just how good life can be when you focus on the little things that made you happy when you were young, because those things will still probably make you happy today, and you know, we could all use an extra smile or two. Okay, so zombie players rejoice. Things are looking nice and spooky. At this point, I think it's time to head to locals. So, as an update, it turned into a bit of a rainy day, but we came to the realization that we actually only have 2 locals left before our first regionals this season. So, we're really going to take in all the information that we can. We're going to try our best, and hopefully, most importantly, we're going to learn a thing or two. Is what I'd say if the most important thing was learning a thing or two. It's actually having a good time with our friends. Update, made it to 401, ready to steal some of Athena's iced coffee, as we typically do. Don't I dare? I'm gonna do it. Hello, Matthew.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Is playable without external bar? I need to get.
Take a look at this. Try and Drolls and Impulse. It was Book of Eclipse. It was more board breakers, but last minute change. I last minute decided to drop the Book of Eclipses in my main, as well as a couple other consistency cards, in favor of hand traps that I was previously siding, like that of the Impulses and the Drolls. I think just after watching Anaheim, I wanted to be safe. I didn't want to get artifact locked. Very last minute decision, but we're gonna put it to the test, and we're going to do so against Sam, who, for the record, I don't think I've ever beaten on this channel. He is a young man, but his technical play is fantastic. He is wise beyond his years, and he was actually grinding Mitsu Yummy with Ryan from Locals way back in July around Nats, which was a pretty crazy secret, but he was very much ahead there. That said, I am winning the dice roll, starting with a Foolish Burial to send the Hound, Hound triggers, and Sam drops a Fua. At this point, I decide to go for the double Liger play anyway, because regardless of how much he draws, if I get to both Ligers, I feel like I'm probably winning. Though, right before I go to Polly for the first, he does hit me with the Nibiru. Luckily, I just scale the Wolf, we banish 4, we summon a Liger anyway. I also only gave him a couple of draws, so this big girl was not outable, and we are taking game 1. Game 2, Sam starts with a Key 2, and I Ash here, hoping he won't have a way to fuse. Unfortunately, King of the Swamp is then discarded, Polly is added, and he gets to a decent board with a double trap, some bodies, and a 5 mana in hand. I feel like it won't be impossible to play through with Engine, so I start, but he does fuse 5 mana to make a Dragoon, which post-negate is suddenly larger than a Liger I can make, so I pivot into trying to summon Tiger King to negate it, Baguska to negate it, but he negates the cards which would get me there, and he essentially ends up taking the second game off the back of the towers that is Dragoon. So we are headed into the all-important game 3. I begin with Masquerade, which should lead to full combo, but he interrupts with an Azuna, which leads to a Vylon, and that books my Kaleido before I can send. Though it does put a body on his board, which makes my Lunalight fusion all the better. At least it would if he didn't have the Ash for it. So anyways, I simply have to set a hard-drawn D-barrier and pass, but it actually works. I do get to my next turn, and while he does make a Ripper to stop me from comboing, I make a Tiger King first, it negates the Ripper, then we combo and take the all-important game 3, which was actually a really motivating start to this tournament, as again, Sam is a really great player, and if we are winning matches here, it means that we've actually made some real progress since the beginning of returning to Yu-Gi-Oh! So, great start to the tournament, and again, so much love for Sam as a person.
When you don't tell your girlfriend that you used your collective funds to order another QCR Ash Blossom, and then she films you with an extra QCR Ash.
Yeah, we can't condone this. This is irresponsible behavior.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna draw more often now.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
I'm surrounded by fusion enthusiasts. I'm an Xyz enthusiast, personally.
Fusion's where it's at, man.
Heck yeah, brother.
Out in the car, I'm when an ask about Mitsuyami.
Yeah.
Like, people just
Yeah.
did not. Like,
No, you were ahead of the game by like 2 months.
I was like, I'm telling you, it's real. Now that you're playing Mitsuyami, I'm just like, I said it. I was literally yelling it in the car.
Yes, Anaheim.
4 of 8.
4 of 8. Oh, baby, you look so pretty.
I have a lot of stuff I've been building. I haven't really had a lot of time on some weeks.
Are you just stealing my drink?
No.
But I have like a list of things I'm trying to
Just stole it.
Next, we're playing against Owen and Yummy, who I really appreciate because he does that deep dive on card interactions with me, and this is the first time he was playing against Lunalight, so during the match there was a lot of explaining the theory behind Lunalight versus Yummy, which I also found quite interesting and helpful. That said, Owen is winning the dice roll, but I am opening an Impulse Kaleido, a Thrust, and 2 strong engine spells. So despite going second, I'm actually feeling very decent. He does begin with a nice looking alt art engage. He grabs a drones, and on activation, I activate the Impulse, hoping for a brick. He, however, does not. A Fua is normal summoned, linked into an Almirage, and then a cookie is specialed from hand. Now, I'm out of hand traps, so he combos into a solid board of Snatchy, Herald, Way, Marshmallow, and a set surprise. I draw into our anime card, it's Heavy Poly, and I start by trying to get more bodies for Heavy Poly by activating the Tenki, at which point he does trade his Way for 2 Engrave. I then resolve the Tenki, grab a Sheep for its Graveyard Reborn effect, and I fire off the Thrust to deal with the Herald, as I know he's not going to let me search a Dark Ruler from the deck. Herald does in fact negate, and that means we can follow up with the Heavy Poly. He changed the Way to trade for 2 more bodies Engrave, and I do resolve the Heavy Poly, banishing 2 from extra, fusing 2 more from hand, and landing on the big Liger. Now, Sheep is triggering to add back Kaleido, Snatchy is activating to swap field spells, and I'm also going to use Liger's effect to wipe the board. All of our cards do resolve, and I activate a Foolish Burial to send a Hound, which is summoning the Leo, and as you know, Leo does just about everything. Now, I know his last card is Surprise, so I just turbo into the second Liger, and while this board could be a whole lot crazier, we're just gonna go to battle, and we are swinging in for game 1. Now, game 2, I'm siding in the Dark Rulers and the Eclipse that I previously had in the main, as this is the best matchup for them, but he is going first, and I am opening
an entirely custom feeling hand of a Gold Leo, Dark Ruler, Heavy Poly, and Strong Engine. Now, Owen begins yet again with an engage. He grabs the Hornet drones, he's activating it, and this time, it is resolving. He is comboing his way into SP, Herald, Snatchy, and a total of 3 sets in the back row, which is a little spooky. We do have Dark Ruler, but it doesn't handle those. That said, I am drawing into Droll, which I actually forgot to side out. So there's that. Though he does say, fortunately, I do. So we are negating the bodies. Now we do have to play through the back row, and I could lead with the goods or Leo, but I don't want to risk losing the bodies that I need for Heavy Poly. So we are just going to activate the Heavy Poly immediately. It's going to mean a weaker board, but it is a lot safer. So now that we're feeling safe, I activate the goods. It is sending a Perfume, which we are banishing, and we are discarding to search a Hound. We are grabbing this because it is a spell trap negating Grave, and it's also the best card to pair with our Lunalight Fusion. With that, we are clearing the board, we are comboing into a second Liger, and while I can't attack this turn because of the Dark Ruler, we do on our following turn, and we are taking the match there. Again, I think Yummy is probably my best matchup, but it was great talking with Owen about all of the possible outs, the lines, the interrupts. It was his first time playing against the deck, so there was a lot of learning there, but I'm sure the next time we play, he will be tributing over the Ligers with with something. Maybe it's a Lava Golem, maybe it's a Kaiju. We'll see what happens. But I do hope to play with Owen a bit more. I feel like he's somebody who I see at locals a lot, but I don't really have the opportunity to chat with, and I really like him. So just nice to sit down and have that chat. Though we are undefeated, and we are moving into the next one. We haven't talked about this yet, but Athena and I are in fact matching outfits. It's very spooky.
At that point, I lost 11 times. But he was like, okay, since you lost that many times, how about this? We'll do a best of 3. I should have lost. I was like, no, I was like, why did I even bother? Literally rolled.
You gotta play Tempai.
Yeah, no, it's actually so bad.
Assuming you're not signed on best girl.
No.
I'm not, unfortunately. Now, we're going to jump ahead here to my final match of the day, which was actually against our resident lab enjoyer. They were undefeated, and I quickly saw why in game 1 when they searched D-Barrier. They completely destroyed me. It stopped all of my plays, outed Baguska, and they followed up with the OTK. It was clean. It was a little intimidating, and in game 2, I do get a bit more lucky. I activate the Impulse at the right time. It stops the big push. I am able to get to my Ligers, and we are able to get the OTK. So we are moving into the all-important game 3. This is the one that determines if we get that undefeated record, and Theo is going first. Theo is setting 4, which is arguably a full combo for Lab, but I do actually a Labyrinth card, which stops the potential advantage. Then I summon my Gold Leo, we get the Kaleido on field, and before we get to send with the Kaleido, a Daruma is activating and my bodies are booked. However, luckily for me, I do have the Black Sheep in hand, so we are discarding it, we are adding a Poly from deck to hand, and we are fusing into the Perfume, which is starting its own combo line until we get another Kaleido on board, and yet again, before we can send, we are getting hit with a punishment, which is clearing the second attempt at a board. That said, I do continue pushing, and once we have an additional board, the third board, a Trap Trick is activated, another Daruma Cannon is set, and oh, my bodies are booked yet again. So at this point I say, okay, you know what? That's fine. I'm just going to get a Hound engrave, I'm going to get a Perfume engrave, we're going to have a Trap negate, and we are going to pass back. So it actually works. It's enough to threaten the larger push that Theo could have made, and with that, on the following turn, I am able to full combo. We are able to get a double Liger. Double Ligers are able to take that final game, and we are ending this locals with yet another undefeated week against an actually really cool deck. I wasn't sure how Luna would fare against the Endless Darumas, but apparently it's alright. I really respect that Theo, after quite a break, came back with a rogue deck, was able to go X1, and to be honest, I really think that could have went either way. In our next match, I have no doubt that he might just take it. But really nice to play against Theo. They were actually the first person I played against when I started going to 401, so there was some kind of like warm nostalgia there. That said, this time we do have some packs to open, so let's rip into those.
We gotta pull the marshmallows for Athena. Yeah.
Oh!
Athena.
I did pull a secret.
You pulled a secret?
I did.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Walking at.
Okay, ultra.
Pretty good.
Do any of you play DDD?
No, but the way that she's sitting in this throne is speaking to me.
Oh my god.
It means
Hey guys, welcome back home. We are going to be a little bit quiet tonight because Athena is in bed, she is sleeping, and I don't want to wake her up. But I do want to talk about locals because very last minute switching board breakers for hand traps, and I ended up playing a mix of the two, but I really felt like post Anaheim I was going to see a lot of K9 Crystron and those kind of FTK decks. But when I was walking around locals, I saw a lot of Yummy, a lot of Mitsu, a lot of Dracotail, and it wasn't, I think, the picture that the YCS painted. And I do think that decks like the one that won the YCS will continue to win big events and YCSs. But I think on a local level, on a regional level, people still really just want to play with the decks they find fun. And right now, I think a lot of people are still really enjoying Yummy and Dracotail. I think it's also worth noting that Lunalight is in an oddly good spot in that it's not an amazing deck right now. It's not the best deck. It's very far from it. And because of that, I think the representation is pretty low. And because the representation is low, people aren't siding for it. And it's not a thing of, oh, it's a bad deck, I shouldn't side for it. I think people recognize that it's a decent deck. But the thing is, it's a very diverse format as it is. And a lot of the side cards are going to Yummy, Dracotail, Mitsu, K9 Crystron, etc. And because of that, you don't necessarily have a bunch of extra space to dedicate for a single deck that you very likely won't see in a tournament setting. I was talking to Ryan about this actually, and he was saying, yeah, I don't have an out for Liger Dancer. If I play against Lunalight and they get it out, then I accept that loss because it's so unlikely that I will actually get matched up against it in a tournament. And if I do, there's also a chance that I win the dice roll. I would draw a bunch of hand traps. And I thought that was actually really good reasoning. And I think it's partially why we're doing so well with the deck lately. People are choosing not to side for it because again, it's not that they don't respect the deck, but they are choosing to side for the matchups they will get more frequently. And I think that's actually smart. It's one of those things where I'm not siding for Malice right now because I think it's very, very unlikely I get matched up against Malice. Now, if I do get matched up against them, I probably accept the loss if I don't win the dice roll. And that's okay because it's probably just one matchup in an event, and you can lose 2-3 matches, still get your invite, still do well. So I think sometimes you do just accept that there are decks out there that you probably take the loss to in a diverse format when you have to allocate a lot of spots in your side deck to different decks. So again, I think Lunalight, it's in a good spot. I'm excited about it. I think we've only lost 3 matches total in the last month of going to locals. One was to Centurion, another was to Tempai, and another one was the double loss in time with Heroes. So every time I played against a meta deck, we've won. What I lose to are the rogue decks that I simply do not know what they do, and it's a little rough when you just don't know how to interact with a deck. But I think that's a good sign. I think that's a good sign for going and getting our invite. I don't know that. I know that I have not had a win streak like this since returning to Yu-Gi-Oh! So that's been really nice. But I'm excited. I'm excited about Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm excited about going out and seeing our friends. I'm excited about a big milestone that we just hit on the channel with this upload, and that is 100 videos. It finally happened. It's also worth noting that a great deal of those happened over the last year, and this last year has been by far the most consistent I've been with the channel, and I should say we've been with the channel because Athena has been such a huge part of this. She has really just helped make sure that these videos get edited and shot, and when new cards come out, she helps me figure out combos and do different things like that. So it's been really cool that we have been doing this for almost a year, that we did just hit 100 uploads, that this again is the most consistent we've ever been, and we will continue to be. I think this really does feel like we are in it, and we are in it for the long haul. And I have something really cool to show you on Monday, which is actually why this video is coming out early. I just wanted to create a little bit of space for them, for you guys. But yeah, another video coming out Monday, 101, and I think it's all very exciting. We have one more locals before we go to regionals. We try to get that invite, and we're trying to do so very early this year. I really want to go back to Nats. I think going to Nats this last year was incredible. So we're doing a lot. We're having a great time doing it. And as per usual, I'd like to thank you for being here and being a part of this journey and getting us to the point of 100 uploads. And we also just reached 50,000 subscribers. Thank you for being a part of that. Thank you for being a part of this journey, whether you joined back in 2019 during the first return to Yu-Gi-Oh, or sealed only with Mario, or the new return to Yu-Gi-Oh that we just did over the last year. Regardless of when you joined, thank you for being here. Thank you for being supportive. Thank you for watching these till the very end. It's really cool, and it means a lot that you care and want to listen to me talk about shiny cardboard and all of that. But this is wonderful. I will see you Monday with a brand new video. After that, I will see you with the final locals vlog before regionals, and maybe we'll include regionals in that too. That said, thank you for being here. I hope you're doing well, and above all, as always, peace and love.